Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vidhare
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 Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari
Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari
Yashodhanandana Jaya Rajajanaranjana Jaya Rajajanaranjana
Yashodhanandana Jaya Rajajanaranjana Jaya Rajajanaranjana Vanachari Jaya Kunja Vidhare
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vidhare
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vidhare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo.
Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai,
Ananta Koti Vaishnavarinda ki
Jai.
Guru Prem Anante
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Uh-oh. Here comes the obligatory garland. Oh, there's two. I get to choose one of the other. Uh-oh. Okay. Close as possible. I must be as close as possible. Otherwise, we cannot hear you in the back. Okay. So, let me start by saying I'm happy to be here in the great city of Maribor, which I've just heard should be the capital of Slovenia. Yes, anyone wanting Slovenian translation? We have a professional. Not sure what he's professional at, but he's translating. Okay. Yes, my apologies for not speaking Slovenian today. Maybe another day. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Tarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today is what is called in Indian languages Purnima. Purnima. It is the day of the full moon. And it's not just any full moon day. It is Balarama Purnima. And so today we're celebrating the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His very special form as Balarama, also known as Baladeva, also known as Haladara. Let's see, we have some other names here. Haladara, the carrier, he who has a plow. He is also known as Revati Ramana. Who is Revati? Revati is the consort of Balaram. And so Balaram is he who gives pleasure, Ramana, to Revati. And he's also known as Achyuta-agraja. Achyuta is a name of Lord Krishna, he who never falls down, he who never... This is what one of the many ways the Lord is different from ourselves. Why are we all here? Patita, we are in a fallen condition. We are here not by our choice. Then again, perhaps so. But the Lord is Achyuta, and the Lord Krishna has a brother. How many of you have brothers? How many of you have sisters? How many of you have brothers and sisters? How many of you have an older brother? I have an older brother. So you can take your name and you can put Agraja, and that will be a name of your older brother. He who was born Ja before you, Agra. So he is Balaram is known as Achyuta-agraja. And as I said, he's known as Haladara or Halayudha. Haladara is he who carries a plow, and Halayudha is he who can fight with the plow. I don't know if he fights with his plow. What does Balaram do with his plow? He plows the fields, you may say. We have lots of farmers here in Slovenia. We drove through a lot of farming land on the way here. lots of cornfields, and we see a lot of barns. Balaram is the Lord of farmers. We see a lot of churches all over Slovenia. We should see a lot of shrines for Balaram, as he is the Lord of farmers. Yeah, he carries a plow. He also carries, sometimes when he's not carrying a plow, what does he carry? He carries a club. And this is what he fights with. And he is most expert at fighting with the club. In fact, he was a teacher of club fighting. We don't see a lot of club fighting nowadays. Nobody practices club fighting, as far as I know. But Balaram is a club fighter, and he teaches club fighting. And surprisingly, one of the persons that he taught club fighting to was Duryodhana, of all persons to teach club fighting to. Duryodhana, the arch enemy of the Pandavas. Why would he do that? It's hard to say, but they were friends. Balaram and Duryodhana were friends. That's another story. But that's one of the names. Another name is Pralamba Gna. Gna means destroyer. Pralamba is, actually a pralamba is a cucumber. So this is the cucumber demon. Pralambasura was killed by Balaram, and this he does as a service for Krishna. And this is an important idea that is helpful for us to remember about Balaram. He is Krishna's counterpart. He is in every respect, the same as Krishna. You're waiting, yes. When does the however come? Yes, he's every respect like Krishna. However, there are some, we can say, external features of Balaram which are different. Balaram has the color, Krishna has the color of the rain cloud. And today maybe we were meditating on rain clouds with the meditation, my dear rain clouds, please go away. Right? And they listened to our prayers. So Krishna has this color of Shyama, the color of rain, of the cloud, which is pregnant with rain. And Balaram has the color of the full moon. And so they are in this way contrasting, but they're also complementing. But there's another way that Balaram and Krishna are different. And before I say what they are, we may ask the question, how to understand, how to really grasp the idea of how to get it, the supreme personality. There is a supreme personality. There is a person who is above all beings, who is perfect in every respect, who is all-powerful, who is full of all opulences. Aishvaryasya, samakṛṣya, viryasya, yashasya, jnana, vairagya, yuschaila, sannam, bhava, itindana. How to comprehend? It's beyond us, because we are finite and the Lord is infinite. And we can understand finitude, that means what we are, because we experience it all the time. We are experiencing our limited knowledge, our limited power, our limited beauty, our limited memory, our limited fame, and so on. We can list, we can make long lists of what we're not, or the limits of what we are. And then there's the Lord, who has all of this, what we experience as limited. The Lord has it all to unlimited degrees. And as soon as we think we've got to the limit of that unlimited, it goes further. How to comprehend? Fortunately, the Lord comes in a way that's comprehensible. Comprehensible. We can grasp, we can get the idea of the Lord. And of course, the celebration of the Lord's appearance, we call Krishna Janmashtami, is going to be happening in a few days. And Balaram's appearance is prior to that of Krishna's, which makes him the older brother. Now, it's not that Balarama appears only a few days before Krishna. He appears a few days plus a year before Krishna. Otherwise, it's hard to imagine how it would work with Devakī and Revati. But what I want to say is, one way that we understand things in this world visually is something we generally take very much for granted, and that is, most of us, we are fortunate, we have not one eye, but we have two eyes. What's the significance of having two eyes? This is just basic optics. We get perspective. We can judge distances. We can sense visual, spatial relationships by two, because we have two eyes. And we can test that. If you close one eye, suddenly your perspective goes, and your sense of distance also immediately goes. So what's happening with having two eyes is we're actually comparing one angle with another, and our brains works it out. We don't have to think about it. It's all instantly being worked out. So I'm making a very crude analogy here to say that there are two lords. And by considering, thinking that there are two lords, there's the Lord, there's Krishna, and there's his first expansion, Balarama, we get some perspective on what it means, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what I mean by that more specifically is, we have two lords, and they're practically the same, except what? One of them, Krishna, is the receiver of service, and Balarama, the other one, the other Lord, is the giver of service. So we have perfect complementarity. Balaram giving service, Krishna receiving service. Balaram giving perfect service to the perfect Lord who is perfectly receiving that service. And then it goes a step further, because Balaram is the older brother when Krishna and Balaram are together, and they're all the time together when they're in Vrindavan. You always read, you hear that when Krishna goes to the forest, who goes with him? Balaram and the cowboy boys. And it's said in the 10th canto Bhagavatam, Antayam adu abala haridasavarya yat Rama Krishna charanas parashat pramodha manantanoti sahago ganayostayor yat pani yasuya vasat kandara kanda bulai. It's the gopis are praising Govardhan. Govardhan is Haridasa Varya. He's the best servant. Why is he the best servant? That's explained in the rest of the verse. Well, for one thing, Krishna together with Rama, meaning Balarama, they're playing on Govardhan Hill. And so Māmakam, the Govardhan Hill, is offering respects. He's receiving, he's holding up the feet, the lotus feet of these two lords. Balaram is serving Krishna, but Govardhan is serving Balaram and Krishna. And Balaram serves Krishna in all sorts of different ways, in all sorts of different, we may want to say, moods. Going from the most, what you might call, not impersonal, but non-personal, to the most personal, the most intimate. He's serving, well, first of all, he's making, it's Balaram, especially as Saṅkarṣaṇa, who is creating the universe. It's Balaram who is holding up the universe as Ananta, who is sometimes called śeṣa, and it's śeṣa. Śeṣa, the word śeṣa means remainder. When you take everything away from the universe, what remains? Balaram, śeṣa, Ananta, the Lord who is holding everything up. So he's making place for Krishna to appear and to perform his pastimes, to have his lila. Because the Lord does not need to do anything. Karma means one has to act. There is some kind of duty, there's some kind of compulsion to act. In the case of the Supreme Lord, there's no compulsion, there's no need to act. And so when he does act, he acts completely freely, and that is lila. But to facilitate lila, Balaram is there. And he supplies him with everything else. He supplies him with a garland. First he supplies him with dress, he supplies him with shoes. Except Krishna doesn't like to wear shoes in Vrindavan. One time, Mother Yashoda complained to Krishna, you're not wearing your shoes. Mothers are always telling their children, put your shoes on. Right? You go outside, run around, put your shoes on. So Mother Yashoda is scolding Krishna. How do you say scold in Slovenian?
Kregati.
Kregati? Kregati. She's put your shoes on. And Krishna says, I'll put my shoes on if you supply shoes for all the cows. 900,000 cows times 4 feet. It's going to be a lot of work for the shoemakers. So Balarama supplies shoes. He supplies, when Krishna wants to sit, Balarama supplies the seat. He supplies the throne. He supplies an umbrella when there's need for an umbrella, and so on. And when Krishna wants to steal butter or yogurt and so on from the cowherd women, and of course also from his very own mother, how dare he do such a thing? Who helps him to do the stealing? Balarama. He helps him climb up to get. So it's actually a conspiracy. Lately we've heard a lot about conspiracies. This is the original conspiracy. So this is bona fide conspiracy theory. Yes. And, of course, Balarama assists Krishna as his friend. He's always, as we've discussed, Krishna and Balarama are playing on Govardhan Hill, but when they play, it tends to be the case that Balarama runs faster than Krishna. He's older, he's bigger, he runs faster, but and because he's running faster, he disappears. Govardhan is not like you see it today. Govardhan has big peaks, it has so many caves, it has so many trees, hiding places. It's a magical place. And Balarama is running ahead and disappearing. But he leaves marks, so Krishna can find him. He leaves a mark with his plow. It's like a little sign, go this way. We almost got lost on our way here today. These mobile phones, we think they're helping us. Sometimes they help us get lost. Balarama is also helping Balarama is protecting Krishna. He is the older brother, after all. But he's also helping as he is before Krishna appears, and that is described, that I wanted to read. Yes. Devakyā jaṭhare garbhaṁ śeṣā-ākhyam dhāma māmakam sannikṛṣya rohiṇyā udare sanniveśaya. This is Krishna speaking to Yogamaya before Krishna has appeared, indeed before he has even entered the womb of Devakī. So Krishna is advising Yogamaya. What is he advising? He's saying to Yogamaya, within the womb of Devakī is my partial plenary expansion known as Saṅkarṣaṇa or śeṣa-ākhyam. It's known as śeṣa. without difficulty transfer him into the womb of Rohiṇī. Now, this is one of the unusual things about Balarama, but it's also a kind of similarity with Krishna. They both have two mothers. Yeah. Devakī is the mother of Balarama for the first 7 months of her pregnancy. And then Krishna gives this advice to Yogamaya to make this arrangement. What is the arrangement? She should arrange for Balarama to be drawn out of Devaki's womb. It will appear that Devakī has a miscarriage. But that's not the case. What's happening, and it will also appear that Rohiṇī is having a miscarriage, because she's also been pregnant for 7 months. And Yogamaya is doing a quick, we say in English, sleight of hand, means a quick trick of changing bodies trick, you might say. But why is this all happening? It's happening because Balarama is serving Krishna by making a nice arrangement in the womb of Devakī for Krishna to enter. He's making the place perfect and pure for Krishna to appear, to enter into the womb and then to exit after 2 more months. That's Balarama, that's Krishna, that's different from us. Now you may wonder, is there any way that Balarama assists Krishna in his romantic life? In his Madhurya Leela? And the answer is yes. But how does he do it? This is a little bit esoteric. He appears, so there's Krishna, expands as Balarama. Balarama expands. He expands into many forms, but one of the forms that he expands into is not a male form, it's a female form. And her name is Ananda Manjari. Ananda Manjari is the younger sister of none other than Srimati Radha. And so he, Balarama, as Ananda Manjari, assists Radharani in arrangements for meeting Krishna. That's, little known facts of the spiritual realm. Okay, so what's though especially relevant perhaps for us today as we sit here as limited beings, as conditioned souls, as persons subject to all sorts of frailties. What's the word for frailty? Weakness? Kirkosset. Yeah? More or less. Yeah. More less than more. Sorry. What's for us to remember today is that the Lord is Balarama, and Bala, what does Bala mean?
Strength.
Yeah, strength. And Rama means?
Giver of pleasure.
Yes, or just pleasure. So the Lord, Balarama, is the one who can give the strength, or who, through his strength, gives us the possibility of Rama, of pleasure. And also, of course, what is that pleasure? It's the spiritual, the pleasure of spiritual activity, of connection with the Supreme Spirit, Krishna, who is Rama. And so, when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we sometimes forget that the name Rama can have two references simultaneously. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're chanting the name Rama as many times as we're chanting the name Krishna, which is another indication that Krishna and Rama are the same. And the question came up and was brought before Srila Prabhupada one day. Who is Rama referring to? Is it referring to Ramachandra, or is it referring to Balarama? And typical of we young wannabe Vaishnavas, we tend to see everything in either or terms. It's either this or that. And so the devotees were thinking, it's either Ramachandra or it's Balarama. So they went to Prabhupada and they asked, is it Ramachandra or is it Balarama? And of course, Srila Prabhupada said, both. It is both. Rama can refer to both. So today especially, at least one day of the year, we may want to remember Rama as Balarama. He is giving us power, and in particular, he's giving us power if we take shelter of him. He is giving us power to overcome anarthas. What is anartha? It is the opposite of artha. And artha is a good thing. It's something desirable. It's something wanted. It's something of interest. And anartha is the opposite. It's something we don't want, something we don't need. It's something in the way. So that's what Balarama is doing, and it's also indicated in the pastime of Balarama entering the womb of Devakī. Who was in Devaki's womb prior to the entry of Balarama? One after another. There were 6 sons of Marichi. And each one of these sons, one after another, immediately after they were born, what happens to them? Kamsa comes, kills them. Why? Because it has been ordained. They have to be killed. But who are these in allegorical sense, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? These 6 sons represent Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Madha, Mada, Moha, and Matsarya. Kama means lust. What is lust in Slovenia?
We have 2 words.
2 words. Ochota, poželenie.
Which one is worse?
Ochota. Pretty the same.
Huh?
Pretty the same.
Ochota. Ochota.
Sounds like a witch.
Like a witch? Okay. Dhāma, and then krodha, anger.
Yeza. Yeza.
Yeza. Ochota, yeza. Then loba, greed.
Ochlep.
Ochlip. Ochota, yeza, ochlip. I'm getting my Slovenian lesson for today. I'll forget everything, but... And then, okay, kama, krodha, loba. Mada means madness.
No rose.
No rose. Like neurotic. Yeah, no rose. And mada, moha means bewilderment.
Medenos.
Medenos.
Zmedenos.
Medenos.
Z.
Mezenos.
Zmedenos. Zmedenos.
Whatever. Yes, and then finally, matsarya or envy. What is envy?
Zavist.
Zavi?
Zavist.
Zavist. Sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many would like to overcome these once and for all completely? 2, yeah. Twice over. Yeah, so here's our chance. Lord Balarama, he's the one. He can help. He can help. And we can remember this as we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This morning I read a very nice point made by His Holiness Shivaram Swami about the Maha Mantra. And I think it's nice to end on this, or almost end. And that is, there is this, we hear so much about the glory of Krishna's names, and yet we may have this, and one of the essential glories is that Krishna's names are non-different from Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavakaha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Abhinatva Nama Nama. No, there's Abhinatva, there's non-difference between the name and the referent of the name. We hear this and still, yes, but how can you say there's non-difference? And we do have this tendency, we think, well, it's really just a sound. It's, it's a sound, like so many sounds. So, we may have a tendency to minimize. So, Shiva Ramaraj makes this interesting comparison, which I think is helpful. Devotees want to appreciate that the deity of Krishna is Krishna. So we don't want to think, oh, this is just metal, it is just wood, it is just stone. No, we want to understand this is Krishna. Similarly, the Bhagavatam, someone could say, well, it's a book, it's paper, it's ink, little cardboard. That's it. But we know it's something so much more than that. It's not just paper, it's not just ink, it's just, and so on. it is the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So in a similar way, we can understand about the names of Krishna. They are indeed the Lord. And when we are chanting with faith and attention, then Krishna and Balaram can appear and can act in our lives. Okay, on that note, I think we should chant one nice little phrase. This is in Brajbhasa. One of the names of Balaram, which is known, which is very commonly known in Braj, is Dauji. 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 Dauji means older brother. And Krishna is known as Kanhaya. Kanhaya. And the word Bhaya means brother. So Krishna Kanhaya, Dauji ke Bhaya. So now what we need to do is divide into two groups. And let's say that all of you, let's see, Yuri, you can be on that side, okay, you can decide. And you're all going to chant Krishna Kanhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. And all of you on this side are going to chant Dauji ke Bhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya. Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya. Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
Dauji ke Bhaya.
Krishna Kanhaya.
There's no stopping. So Dauji ke Bhaya means the brother of Dauji. Dauji is Balaram. So this is describing Krishna. It's actually it's a much longer song, but that's one of the basic lines. Shri Balarama ki
Jai.
Shri Krishna Balarama ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all. Thank you for this opportunity.
Jai.